This is High School Not So Much a Musical, a podcast that takes you on a ride through the peaks and valleys of a high school journey. Here are your presenters, Nitin Jaladanki and Ayush Agarwal.
Yeah, I think that perfectly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about this show?
So I'm a huge Pooja Hegde fan. So whatever. I mean, she's not great at acting, but I mean her screen presence, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But basically, I think that I kind of like the way that they've kind of casted her as I think that she has maybe a little bit more role in the movie compared to typically where heroines are. So I think that there's gonna be a lot of back and forth between the two actors, and I have high hopes for it. I'm not very into romantic movies as a whole, but I think that they've done a really good twist on it, how they've taken it back in time a little bit, where there was the ship on the sea, and I think that it's taken it out of our modern everyday life. So I think it's going to be a nice way to kind of revisit the past, kind of like a throwback, while having a movie that focuses on romance as well as a little bit of not exactly action, but I think it more like a thriller, as you're saying, because it has to do a lot with the supernatural, and he's a palm reader and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be a very interesting movie. But as you were saying, I completely get it about how there's so many different clashing ideas already within the trailer. So I just hope it's not another lackluster movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
So one of the questions that I wanted to ask now was, what do you think of RRR? Because this was a pan-India movie. Everybody's talking about it. Pretty much everybody across India knows about the movie. What are your hopes for it? What are your expectations? And do you think they will be met?
Yeah, RRR for me, so just in case for people who don't know what RRR is, it's a movie directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who directed Bahubali. It's the next movie after that. It's coming out the 25th of this month. And it's, I think, a freedom-fighting thriller movie. I honestly have been very pleased with RRR. I love the casting. NTR and Ramcharan are both capable actors in their own realm. Rajamouli is a master of world building, and he's already built the world of RRR quite well. It was supposed to release January 7th. I really hoped, and unfortunately due to Corona, it got postponed. Honestly, I've been very happy. I don't like criticizing Rajamouli a lot, just because he did put, Telugu cinema on the map. And I have immense respect for him on that. But at the same time, if he makes a bad movie, you gotta call it out as a bad movie. RRR for me does not give any vibes of a bad movie. The production value seems to be amazing. The music seems to be very mellifluous to the tune of the entire movie. The plot seems to be very good, actually. It's dealing with a lot of themes in a very, very smooth and efficient manner. Themes of friendship, themes of the freedom fighting British. And it's also a very fresh plot in the sense that it explores the lives of freedom fighters before they became big freedom fighters. The only complaint I have with the movie as of now is Rajamouli is known for making these very similar characterizations in his movies of the same moral lifting heroes and the same heroes that are very great role models and everything. And he did change a little bit of Bahubali, with this Halal Dev and everything, characterizations and stuff. However, I hope that RR looks to be going down the same path of these two heroes being the the best form of humanity and them saving everyone and things like that. I hope that it's different, and I know that there's going to be a few different elements, but RR does look to be going down that path, a little bit predictable. However, that doesn't mean it doesn't take away anything from the movie, as the visuals look amazing. The entire scope of the movie has been picturized on a very effortless scale. There's a lot of effort been put into the movie to ensure that the entire scale of the movie looks very effortless, in the sense that it's very smooth and transparent. I'm very, very excited for RRR. I think, there's a little bit more than a month left for the release, and I'm very excited to see how it pans out. Side note, I think the trailer did reveal a bit too much about the movie. I essentially know the entire plot now, but I'm still very excited to see how it pans out, because there's a lot of sequences that the movie has been promising, and there's a lot of sequences I saw glimpses of in the trailer that excite me a lot. So I'm very, very hyped for RRR. I think it will be a very good movie, and I think it will be a good addition to Telugu cinema. I just hope that Rajamouli keeps his, keeps to his strengths, but at the same time, does experiment a little bit out of his realm. What about you?
Yeah, I agree the same. I was my mom, sister, and I we were ready to go to the movie theater. We scheduled the tickets for the first day for a show, and then everything got canceled. We were really excited to go for the movie because I'm not a very big fan of Ramcharan or NTR, but I think that I like their movies, but I'm not like diehard fan for them.
Yeah.
But I think that they are gonna be putting out a nice movie, and like one of the things that I've been seeing is movies like this, you just kind of expect something from it, and I think that they're going back in time a little bit. It kind of for like the younger audience, it may be difficult to kind of understand what's going on, but like for the parents, it's a huge throwback to exactly everything that they've learned about freedom fighters and stuff like that. So I think that it's a very good movie that's appealing to the older audience rather than the younger one itself.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing with Rajamouli is that he can appeal to both audiences very, very effortlessly, both youth and both old audiences, and I think that he is nailing it on the head in terms of what he wants to bring to the table. So I think hopefully he just continues to do that, and I hope this movie can further a little bit of cinema in the sense that it can try to bring new elements into Telugu cinema that we haven't seen before, into just Indian cinema in general. The scale itself looks to be a new element. I haven't seen a movie mounted on this high of a scale this well in a while, so it'll be nice to see. And I just hope RRR turns out to be a very classic movie like Bahubali for Indian cinema.
Yeah, I definitely agree the same. So one thing that I wanted to shift to now was one of the things that I talked about with one of my friends regarding cinema was his thoughts on piracy and like movie rules and those kind of websites. So I don't want to go like ask too like deep of a question, but what do you think of all these like piracy sites where you don't have to buy the OTT platform, you're watching the movie with camera print, all that kind of stuff? So just what's your opinion on these sites?
Yeah, I hate it, to be frank. I don't like piracy at all. One of the reasons I go to theater so much is I think that movies should be supported regardless, right? Let's say, let me take the example of, I don't know if you know about Kiran Abbavaram. He's an upcoming actor, and he made a movie called SR Kalyana Mandapam, right? SR Kalyana Mandapam is this movie that released in theaters August, and I went and saw it. It wasn't good at all, but it did become a hit. And I will say that in this regard, right, I'm happy that I spent money and went to watch this movie in theaters, because although it turned out to be a really bad movie, hopefully with the support of the hit that he got from this movie, with I'm as a movie going audience, I did contribute to the collections a little bit, right? And with everyone contributing to collections, the movie did become a hit. So with the hit under his belt, Kiran Abbavaram is non-nepotistic. He's a very capable actor. He's someone who is already picking a lot of new scripts. So with the hit under his belt, he might go and experiment even more, make scripts that further the industry. He might try to bring new genres in. And in fact, let's say that he sticks to commercial movies and makes more commercial movies. It's always a good thing to have a non-nepotistic actor, right? Or let's say you go and support a nepotistic actor's movie, right? If that movie becomes a hit because you going supporting it does add to collections. If that movie becomes a hit, the nepotistic actor might be more fueled to do something different out of the zone. He might bring more good movies to the table, right? I love supporting cinema regardless, because a cinema becoming a hit means that actors will be fueled to do stuff movies that are not only outside of their comfort zone, but also might do movies that relate or regard to a more good viewing experience, right? Because with a hit, you become more confident in your script selection. You definitely stay in the industry for longer. And piracy just ruins that. Movies that get subject to piracy, get leaked before online, it takes a severe dent in their collections. I know for a normal middle-class family or a normal family, it's not possible to go to every movie, and I understand that. But at least watch it on some OTT platform after it comes out. You don't have to watch it in theaters. Watching it in the OTT platform supports the platform that bought the money, right? Or I mainly for like these camera prints that come out in theaters, if they record it and then they post it on movie rules and something. Yeah, you do get the entertainment, but there is a lot of lives depending on a cinema becoming a hit. And if you don't go watch the movie in theaters, at least don't ruin it with piracy. I don't like piracy at all. I think it ruins the movie going experience. It's not a good movie going experience, first of all, because the camera is shaking and everything. On top of that, it definitely does not do any favors to an industry. So no, I don't like piracy at all.
Yeah, like I completely agree. I have to admit I do use it sometimes if if something comes out on Z5 or AHA or like that, because it's just we have so many streaming platforms already, it just doesn't make sense to buy it.
Yeah.
But I think that a movie like DJ Tilu, which just came out very recently, my dad went and watched it in theaters. He really 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 liked the movie, but I think this is shifting to a different topic and we're nearly out of time, so I just want to quickly touch on this. But for all these like small actor movies, something like Super Over or Color Photo, all these kind of small movies where they're not big actors, they're more like the side actors who are taking a larger role now. What do you think of those movies? What do you think are some of your favorites, and what are your overall opinions on them?
You mean these like small movies that are coming out, like different types of can you just repeat the question, Los?
Yeah, so movies like DJ Tilu or Super Over, like the small budget movies that don't have like a notable director behind them or notable actors behind them. It's more of like this in a big movie, the side characters are trying to get into the movie or try to get bigger roles in the industry.
Yeah, I love them. Definitely, I think small movies are what's keeping the Telugu industry open to experimentation stuff right now. The primary thing is that these small actors have no image, so they do not keep restrictions on the script and do not try to look for elements that suit their image or their fan base. I did watch DJ Tilu in theaters on Friday. I love the movie too a lot. I thought it was just zany comedy. You see this stuff in Hollywood a lot, these zany comedies which are just very nonsensical, but they're meant to be nonsensical, and then they rely on a lot of comedy and like offbeat moments and stuff like that. I thought DJ Tilu perfectly fit the bill. We haven't had a comedy like that in a while in Telugu cinema, so I was very happy about it. Color Photo is another great movie. I loved the way Color Photo was so earnest, and despite it being a very predictable plot, I thought Color Photo really really fit the bill on how to perfectly portray a movie like this. My favorite movies have to be from Marathi. There's a Marathi movie called Saivachan, and it is the movie that started this entire trend of honor killings and realistic love stories, caste love stories being shown in movies. And Saivachan is picturized very very well. It definitely has a very solid script to it, and the twist ending is what is probably one of the best parts of the movie. The screenplay is very heartwarming. The story is written really well, and the music is very iconic. It's remade in the Hindi as Dhadak. I didn't like Dhadak as much, but Sairaj has to be one of my favorite. And then in Telugu, Middle Class Melodies. Middle Class Melodies is definitely a very, very good heartwarming movie, giving a true look into rural Andhra Pradesh, and how they function there. It's written very very nicely in the sense that all the movie ties back to one another in a very convincing manner. It's like seeing a next door story, and it's shot very well, executed very well. Middle Class Melodies is probably one of my favorites too, along with the four movie mentioned. But I love these small movies, especially the OTT platforms nowadays provide a great base for people to release their movies straight on. Especially since OTT platforms, they don't have that entire theater experience, the commitments associated with the theater release, right? OTT platforms pay it ahead of time and then just execute it. So until then, right, depending on how the OTT platform wants it, the movie has its script going for it. And I think the OTT platforms do a really good job of emphasizing scripts over commercial elements, scripts over just a good script, even a commercial script, a good script over everything else. And I think that these small movies are doing a great job of fulfilling that. What about you?
I agree as well. Like the small movies like Middle Class Melodies and DJ Tilu, I thought they're very they're very like homey movies, something that you want to watch with your parents, just sitting down on like a Friday night or something like that. It's not like you don't have huge expectations for it. It's just like a wind down movie that gives you what you want before you head to bed on like a weekend. So I really like those kind of movies, and I don't want to run out of time here, but one of the questions that we ask every single one of the people that come on the podcast, regardless of how old they are or what they do, is just to give some like tips to the audience or any advice that they have. So it's honestly just like a place for you to give your thoughts to the audience on whatever you want them to know. And yeah, you have the floor on whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, since we've talked about movies, I'll just give some, I guess, movie watching, movie going tips. One of my foremost tips is just, be open to everything, in the sense that be open to all sorts of genres of movies. Watch all movies with the mindset to learn something from it. And also, another tip I'd like to give to audience members is, I think the more someone watches a movie, the more they can get analytical of these things. So if you like movies and you like watching movies, definitely love to open your horizons up to everything, and then go around to all sorts of genres, all sorts of movies. Experiment with everything. I know you will have favorite movies, but definitely try to go to theaters more. Try to watch movies more in theaters. If you catch it on the right day, a ticket could be $7, right? And I'm pretty sure $7 is a big I understand that definitely money problems are very relevant and stuff, but if you have the money to spare, to $7 to $10, right, go experiment with new movies and try to find yourself and your interest in movies through new movies, support new movies, and just basically just watch more movies, I guess. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sai, for your time and giving us all of your insight into the Telugu movie industry. We'll make sure to link all of your socials as well as your website in the description to this podcast. I just want to thank you again for your time, and thank the listeners for watching this podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. I hope everyone's enjoyed.
That's our show for today. Now roll the credits. High School Not So Much a Musical is hosted by Ayush Agarwal, Nitin Jaladanki, and Rishi Sinha. Narration by Samhit Padala. Music from Louis Luang Relaxation Cafe, Tune Pocket, and Infraction. If you like the show, please recommend it to your friends and family. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.